starting the association called the Bright Initiative, which initiated for developing and also detecting the disability talent.
Disability talent. Thank you. Number 6.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Roman Christian. I'm a student in your university of engineering, and I'm also coming from Toyota class engineering.
My name is Awanda Bezalis. I'm come from Children's class. It's NGO for youth. Work for resilience of the world.
Yes.
So,
Can you explain them what is Tribanda and what you do here?
Yeah. Children's Place is an NGO for young people. Work for resilience of youth. And also they have some the kind of project which is comes the economic growth. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Charles Kikana. I'm a university lecturer at the University Adventist of Central Africa, Auka, Masomo. So, I'm here. I'm in this domain. Economic development, politics, moral sociology. This is my specialization. I teach projects.
My name is Noah Rambodi Carter. I'm from New
From the University of London?
Yeah.
You study?
Yeah.
What do you study?
Peace studies and conflict transformation.
Well, good, yeah. So I think now you can also introduce yourself and you should introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you. My name is Ernesto Tizel. I'm CS supervisor. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Elise. I'm the CS team leader.
Communication officers. I think those who received before maybe there is another person who is coming. Isha? Yeah. Kizera is also a member of SIAS in charge of projects, those projects. But you have a founder who is Dr. Mohammed Buheli. Mohammed Buheli is the founder of this institution. He's now abroad and he will be coming soon. So he's the founder of the institution, and we will show you the different parts of our institution, the library, the classroom. So after the session, we will have that time. Yeah. So we can now start. We of course use the participatory approach, and participatory approach aims at sharing different ideas. Different ideas in terms of poverty elimination and social welfare. These are very important topics. Me who is teaching you, as I said, I've been lectured at the University of Rwanda in the Department of Governance and Development for quite many years, 14 years now. And this is an important course because we think that poverty is something that can bring stress in humanity, in human life. When you are poor, you are stressed, you are burdened with a lot of issues. So we have to fight against poverty. But how can we do that? It is there is different approach. We shall learn from different theories, but also we shall learn from some successful stories. For instance, in Singapore, or even in Rwanda, we have also some successful stories. But there are some other societies also which have a lot of achievements. But what is then poverty elimination? What is poverty elimination? And can poverty be eliminated? That's another problem. Can we eliminate poverty? Yes, there are people who achieved that. If there are some people who achieved that, we can learn from them. And then, can we build social welfare? What is social welfare? What is social welfare? Brother? What do you understand by social welfare?
Social welfare. It's like where people have good life.
Where people have good life. Well-being.
Yeah, well-being.
Yes.
In terms of food security.
In terms of security, in terms of psychological stand, the mind, yes.
That's what I understand about social welfare.
Yes.
It's in terms of standard of living.
Yeah, the standard of living of the people. The standard of living. So when we talk about social welfare, we can also talk about welfare of the community or welfare state. Welfare state is a state which improves the life of the people. So when we talk about social welfare elimination, social poverty elimination and creation of welfare, we normally base our presentation on the following 3 points. The first one is poverty elimination. Poverty elimination. And the second one is on participation or work or action that help to eliminate poverty. We will see different cases. The other one is about the models, some successful models that we see in different countries, different situations. Yeah. I think we have also Zoom participants. How many Zoom participants we have?
There are 2.
There are 2? Okay. Yeah. I don't know whether we have them self-introduced, but can you kindly introduce them shortly?
Okay.
Who and who?
I think they can hear you, they can introduce themselves.
If you put them loudspeaker so that the others can understand as well. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, can you kindly introduce yourself? Okay, no problem. As they join Zoom, our Zoom, they will introduce themselves as well. Make sure they will have them. Yeah, Zebri, yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. Zebri is, I think, is agriculture and yeah. Very good. So, when we talk about poverty elimination, some people say, no, you cannot eliminate poverty. Why? Because they expect that the poor will always work for the rich. So if you eliminate poor people, well, no, I mean poor people, if you eliminate poverty, not to eliminate poor people, that's bad. If you eliminate poor people, I mean poverty, not poor people, then they think they will lose money power. That was referred to most of the people who used to exploit others. You remember in slavery? Slavery, do you remember? Some American and Canadians were afraid if we abolish slavery, they will not have free workers. But they did abolish slavery. Indeed, they did. And still they developed faster than even. Yeah? Even in Rwanda, we tried to abolish chakara. And people were thinking, oh, many people are going to lose workers. No. It is just giving the right to the poor people to be independent and progress as you are. And still you drive goes on and the mentality change. So people think that if you remove poverty in the population, you will lose people money powers and no. Normally, God gives you the alternatives. I mean, you progress on. This is what you call inclusive governance and development. Inclusive development. Inclusive. So, the first step we need to think when we are talking about elimination of poverty is that mentality change. That if poverty is eliminated, then people who are dependent on us, whom we exploit, will go and we will lose money powers. No! That is a misconception. Because Americans stopped slavery, but they continue to develop. Canadians did so. Rwanda did so. We stopped working and still we are developing. There is no problem about giving rights to the poor to develop. That's a very first point to talk about. So when we are talking about poverty, who can define me? What is poverty? Yes? What is poverty, Edison?
When you say poverty, is when the human being has an insufficient of basic needs.
Insufficiency. Insufficiency. That's a big problem. You can even read some of our paper published, recently published a paper. I published it with Dr. Buhegi on self-sufficiency in Rwanda. You can Google it and find it. Just you can Google it and find it. Self-sufficiency, Rwanda self-sufficiency mechanism. You raise a very good point. Sufficiency. Insufficiency. And what is insufficiency? What is insufficiency?
Myself insufficiency. Lacking of something.
Lacking of something. In terms of poverty, what is insufficiency, my brother? The name again is Descartes.
Ah, okay.
Descartes. What is insufficiency then?
I think insufficiency is the point where you are not satisfied with what you have. You feel the lack of.
You lack of something. In terms of economy, what is insufficiency? The name again, madam, is GDP. When GDP depends on current aid, you mean? Production is very minimal. Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Yes.
Will you remind me your name? The name again? Claudine. So Claudine says when the GDP is low. When the GDP is low. What is the GDP of Ghana? For instance, because we are a small country, we cannot compare with US. Maybe GDP per capita. We call it GDP per capita. GDP, why we say per capita? Because per person. Per capita means per head or per person. Yeah? The GDP means the gross domestic product. In French we call produit intérieur brut. Cyangwa se umusaruro mbumbe w'igihugu w'abaturage. The GDP. The GDP per capita, sometimes we add something called PPP, purchasing power. Usumba nemugu, ushobozi bwo guhaha isoko. Yeah? Guhaha isoko, for instance, if I take this bag of Giva, how many eggs can I put inside? And how many tomatoes can I buy? And how many kilos of beans I can afford? That is what you call PPP, purchasing power. So when we take Rwanda, for instance, when we calculate Rwanda on the GDP per capita, we find like 950 US dollars. But when we call it purchasing power parity, ubushobozi bw'abanyarwanda kujya ku isoko, it reached 2,300 USD. Ibihumbi bibiri amafaranga magana n'amadolari makumyabiri umuturage ku mwaka kariya. And if I can repeat what Claudine mentioned, if you look at the PPP per capita of Rwanda, we can say the whole country is very poor. Because other countries have beyond this. Like Singapore, they have 70,000 USD GDP per capita. Singapore, it's a small, very small country. It's like a district of Rwanda. But it has a lot of money. You will learn from ISA, for instance, the experience of Singapore. So when we are talking about Singapore, how did Singapore eliminate poverty? We shall learn from him what Singapore contributed to the community and what people from Singapore contributed to themselves, to develop themselves. Qatar, they have like 65, I think, or maybe even 70. 75, I think, I don't remember well. USD per capita, GDP per capita. Qatar. Now you can check online and tell me what is the GDP of Qatar. So it means our GDP, we are not self-sufficient. Means we are poor. According to the Israeli president and the team, it means we are poor. Other people are aware that we are poor. Very few. If they were aware, they could work hard. But many Rwandans, we don't have measurement of readiness yet in the community. But maybe as SIAS team, we can set up measurement of readiness in the community. Yes, sir. Take note on that. We can start thinking of that. We can create quantitatively the readiness level among the youth or the old or the productive community. This can be very innovative because most of Africans, they accuse us to be very lazy. To be very lazy. Abantu benshi baturega ko abanyafurika dukize Imana duha ibintu byose ariko turaba. Did you get the paper on self-sufficiency? You can also have some on our posters. It's a recent one. Yes, on self-sufficiency. Others also can have. It's very important to understand the context of self-sufficiency. Really, now look we downloading this. Very important point. Self-sufficiency ni kimwe mu bintu wifatika ushobora gukora. Niyo pepa tanditse aro tuvuga ku bijyanye na GDP, kubijyanye n'ubuhinzi, igihugu cya Ethiopia mu rugero, igihugu kiri mu bihugu bifite issues of self-sufficiency. Ethiopia igihugu kinini ariko 60% ya budget yayo yose iva hanze. Gusa gusabiriza ibihugu kugira ngo babashe guhemba abakozi, babashe kurya, babashe natwe twari dufite iki kibazo mu myaka ishize. Ubu nibura tugeze kuri 40 wenda 47% of dependence from outside. We are trying to change the mind that you have to rely on foreigners. So, Ethiopia depends mostly on food products. They have to get tons of wheat to feed the people. Bagomba kubona ingano utagira umubare. Ingano nyinshi cyane. Ni ngombwa babona ingano nyinshi cyane zivuye hanze. Ukraine, for instance. Ukraine yagize intambara, when Ukraine had war, Ukraine yari mu ntambara. Byaragoranye cyane kugira ngo Ethiopia ibashe kubaho. Turakura ingano zo kurya. Because they are not self-sufficient muri agriculture. So kugira ngo u Rwanda tugere ku rwego rwa twakora kawunga n'ibindi bintu nuko twe dufite lack of self-sufficiency. You can read it in my paper published in 2016 on benefit cost analysis of Rwanda integration in the East Africa. Since 2000 1997, Rwanda didn't produce anything. Everything kaunga, amavuta yo gukaranga, uzewe ko abanyarwanda bakunda gukaranga cyane. Rwanda is like to fry, cooking oil. Every day we take cooking oil. It's a shame that we didn't have cooking oil in the whole country except importing from Uganda. Food from Uganda, manufacturing products like water and whatever was from Kenya, and the country was totally poor. Now we are starting to progress and see how we can develop. Yeah, but this is a very big challenge we have when you talk about. So clothing raised a very important point, sufficient. Yes. But we will see that kwihaza kwigira kwigira. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, maybe I should also help or contribute
Yes.
this debate
Yeah.
poverty.
Yeah. Make sure that it is heard. Yeah, very well, because
There is a lot of literature there talking about poverty.
yes.
But of course, we also have a context, and we need to understand poverty in our context.
Yes.
But let me raise this issue of approaches to understand what is poverty as a definition. We have kind of 4 approaches. And what I've been discussing is, I would say, it is a monetary approach. We refer to how much money, capital income, is GDP, how we can also satisfy basic needs, self-sufficiency, all these concepts. But we refer to money. How much money does Rodin have to satisfy his needs? Alice, and there are also other approaches which are less monetary.
Yes.
I will use 3 of them. One is participatory approach.
Yes.
Participatory approach to understand poverty. And in Rwanda participation, today we are not talking about abagenerwabikorwa and beneficiaries. We are talking about our bikorwa. How much
The stakeholders.
partners, stakeholders, how much are we participating in this process to eliminate poverty? Beneficiary versus, can use partner. I think a partner is, that's necessary. Partner, instead of stakeholder and partner, they go together. But if you use a partner there, it's much better. Partner. We are partners in this process to eliminate poverty. Another approach, this one is an approach, a big one, can be developed. Yeah? And we can also use social exclusion. These concepts of inclusion, exclusion. Are we all included, or there are groups that are left behind? This is a policy of no one left behind. In education, also in development. If you just ignore some groups saying if they die, it's okay, doesn't mean everything. This contributes to higher levels of poverty. Yeah. And another one, you understand that concept of social exclusion, including everyone in that process. Yeah. There is another one which is a little bit complicated, but which also can help us to define poverty. If you know it from Amartya Sen. The capability approach. Yeah. Functioning, doings and beings, which brings also this concept of being and so on. Yeah.
Exactly.
The capability approach, the participatory approach, the social exclusion approach, and then the monetary approach. If we use these 4, we have to understand And we'll understand the concept of poverty, be able to measure it using one perspective or the other. If using the monetary, we'll see, as you're comparing Qatar and Rwanda and Singapore, and see with these figures, statistical rates. But there's also another one. You may have money, but socially excluded. All the people, let me also use the concept of vulnerability in this.
Yeah.
All the people, they may have be of the same age.
Yes.
But if they're in a society that does not discriminate them,
Yeah.
their welfare is obviously protected.
Yes.
But if they're in a society where no one cares,
No one cares.
you understand, they are obviously vulnerable. Anything can kill them. You understand this comparison? So I think, yeah, this is my conclusion.
Very good contribution, yeah. Because we have to look at approaches. Sometimes we used to have...
I've shared with you the paper of Katerina Geri,
Yes.
which has these 4 approaches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please do share with us. Yeah. When we talk about, for instance,
I'm going to share with you if you have email.
email, yeah, you can. We will share emails, yes. And yeah, definitely. When we talk about, these are very important points, Doctor, because they are very important in the sense that when we were in a round table here with our founder, Dr. Kugeji, we talked about financial and non-financial assets or capital. We called financial and non-financial capital or assets. Of course, we can find even more with his paper on financial and non-financial assets. You can be an orphan without money and without land and without house. But maybe you are lucky enough to have your grandmother near you. And your grandmother take you, or someone else, take you at home. Then you are adopted as like his child. So it means you are benefiting from grandmother's
Also the society at large.
Yes, and the society at large.
You are not discriminated.
So, yes, yeah.
You are given some
Very good
benefits, health benefits. You can even take the case of genocide survivors.
Yes.
Imagine if the government was not caring for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
They would have been more vulnerable.
Yeah.
But then the government decided to educate them, give them health and...
And this decreased the vulnerability.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for that contribution. So, yes. When we talk about assets, for instance, you remember what you call social capital. Social capital in development theory. Social capital is very important. You cannot have maybe 5,000 money, Rwanda money, but you can call your colleague, your classmate, or your colleague, or your neighbor, provides 5,000 for you. And that's the social capital. Most of our countries, where money is not enough, most of people live on social. That is the capitalization of social network. So when we talk about poverty, what is poverty? State of disposition. Disposition, actually fit.